everybody gets out of the track, your adrenaline's running. You just do what clicks, whether that's run up to somebody or start throwing punches, whatever it is. I'm Brouwers. I race stock car. I really like going fast. I've always been a racing fan. Dad was always a race fan, so I guess I grew up watching NASCAR with him. And like I say, Dave, his buddy, was always a racer. This is actually his motor that we're running in the car now, and I was like 16, 17, and he'd kind of mention, you know, you should jump in there, you should jump in there. And never did, and finally we were all sitting around, and he said, you know what, we better get the car out, you better get in there.
I'm Todd Brouwers, I'm Anna's father. We race at a small dirt track in Lansing, Minnesota called Chateau Raceway. It's a 3rd-mile track. Dirt track's a lot of just good old boys having fun. I think there's a lot of skill involved in driving on dirt versus racing like on NASCAR. There's a lot of money involved in those guys. NASCAR guys, they go hunting and fishing and show up on Sunday and drive.
The car's an 82 Monte Carlo. We're running a 350 small block Chevy engine in it. 00 was always my soccer number through high school or middle school. I guess since I was a kid, I've always been the goalie in soccer. The guy who did my decals just came to me. He's like, hey, we need a number. I'm making decals tonight. I was like, I don't care. Just throw 00 on this. Sign it me. Sounds good. Okay, so when we get there, we have our hot laps, which are our very first practice laps. Out there, just run a few laps, get your car ready to go, warmed up kind of. And then you have your heat races, which is like you're qualifying your practice race. Top 5 is ideally where you'd like to finish. And then from there, the drawings go out as far as where you're going to position for your feature race, which is your main one, which is the 15 laps for our class. I race in the pure stock class, kind of the beginner's level, I guess. I have not won. I finished 3rd twice in my heat race. 7th was my best finish in a feature race. Well, with the point system, at the end of the season, we ended up finishing 5th, which for my first season, we're more than happy with that. Got it? Okay.
Being a kid, you know, she's never really driven a rear-wheel drive vehicle. Most vehicles on the road today are front-wheel drive, so they handle a whole lot different than the vehicles like I grew up driving rear-wheel. Worry a little bit, but for the most part, she's pretty safe in there. Those cars are pretty safe. Safer in that race car than she is on a street.
When I'm sitting there lined up, waiting to get out on the track, just getting strapped in there, pull your seatbelts tight, get adjusted so you're comfortable. Say a quick little prayer, hope everything works out for the best. The biggest thing you learned is that it's 100 things that are going to be running through your mind at once. So you got to kind of prioritize and remember the big things first, and then as you catch on to those, start picking up on the little details. The big thing at the beginning of the season was for me is I just kept looking in front of me, but you got to look farther beyond that. You got to look at who's going into the turn long before you get to the turn. Dirt, there's a lot less control. Pavement, you turn the wheel and it's going to go that way. You get on dirt and you're turning right while you're moving left. We've seen the movie Cars, but he explains it perfect. You turn right to go left. You gotta slide into it. Once you're going sideways, that's where I messed up in my first race, is I kept it sideways too long, ended up looping it around going into the infield. First race got started later than we planned. The season was supposed to start April, ended up being, I think, mid-May. So we had a very wet spring. lots of snow melting, so it just makes for a wet infield in the early season. They have their lake, if that's what you want to call it, out in the infield. And right out of the get-go, we have our drivers meeting. They told us, you know, stay out of the lake. You go in the lake, we'll throw you the tow hook, but you'll have to hook it up yourself. I was going into turn 2 and just got a little antsy, spun out, and there I was right away, beginning of the race, right after they had told us not to go in the lake. There I was in the lake. Late in the season, everybody's kind of getting used to the feel of everything, and it's still definitely my first year, and you could tell. I went into some turns, we did some bumping. We had a driver, I guess, not too happy with me, not too happy with the way I was driving, and came over to the pits, confronted me about it.
Stupid when you ram into me, I think that's you. From all the pure stacks, you driving a straight line.
Whether it's her fault, my fault, whoever's. At the end of the day, there was bumping done, and people weren't happy when we got off the track. It's all name of the game, I guess.
And all the pure stacks want you to just drive in a straight line, please.
When she came over, I guess I'd have to say I was expecting it. Everybody has a first season.
I know, but I didn't cause as much wrecks as you.
It happens in the pits quite a bit where people confront each other.
See how she handled herself, if she was going to address the issue or just kind of let the girl blow off steam and move on.
I had cameras around me. Had you guys not been there, World War III would have broke out.
You know, you'll have those confrontations in the race, you know, heat of the moment.
Confident that I'm doing what I can do, doing my best, improving every week. And I don't want to come out here and wreck anybody else's car, but people come over getting mad at me. What do you do? You get an adrenaline rush, that's for sure. Good adrenaline rush. Because I like running right up there next to everybody and wondering what can you do to get ahead of them? What can you do? You know, I can't really say exactly how other drivers think of me. I know being a rookie, that automatically puts me in a lower position. They already look down to me, and they're more experienced drivers, so it's kind of in their way. And then, like you say, being a female, I guess, kind of faced that my whole life in construction or work, anywhere I go. I seem to be one of few girls. I think everybody goes through that their first season when you're the rookie. No one's gonna like it. I'll be the first to admit it. I'm not the best driver out there, but that's because it's my first season and everybody has to start somewhere. As far as fans, we have a lot of friends and family, far more than I could have ever dreamed of been out there supporting for the first season. Like, I sold 200 t-shirts this year. I mean, it was just blew me out of the water when people kept coming to me. Now I see strangers wearing my shirt that has my name on it. It's weird having kids in the pits come up to me asking for my autograph. It's like, well, who am I to be autographing anything?
It's pretty exciting to have a daughter racing. It's a lot of fun. I'm proud of Anna because she's willing to do something she's always wanted to do, and it's mostly men out there doing it, but she's willing to go out there and compete with them and have fun doing it and make a few mistakes, but keep going back at it.
To kind of flash back and think of being in the lake on my very first night to the last night we didn't hit the wall, which was from the beginning of my season, that was a huge step up. Every driver has their own way of doing things once they get out there. Some drivers like to have everybody around them. Some, I guess, would be more like me. I kind of get in there, do my own deal, and I suppose that's kind of the way I am with anything, with work or anything that I do. I kind of just do it on my own. I don't need someone there handing me my helmet or flipping the switch for me.
Side